Welcome to Giggles and Gays, a podcast where we talk about whatever we want to. Welcome to day 2 of the 12 Days of Christmas.
He didn't introduce us. We can't talk. He didn't introduce us. We can't talk. We're not here.
That's a really good way to start off. I'm Alan.
I'm Larry.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're gay.
Festively gay.
Festively gay. Again, are we festively gay 2 days in a row?
We're festively day all 12 days, baby.
Yeah, welcome to day 2.
Mr. Sugar Plum Fairy.
Mr. Sugar Plum Fairy.
Wow.
We got real straight there for a second. I'm sorry, everybody. It won't happen ever again.
I was like, call you Sugar Plum Fairy.
Straightest this podcast.
Mr. Peppermint Buns. Is that your name?
Yeah.
Mr.
Peppermint Buns. Peppermint Buns.
Who's Mr. Sugar something?
I'm Mr. Sugar Sprinkle Pants.
Sprinkle Pants. For a second.
Senor Sprinkle Pants.
Senor Sprinkle. For a minute, I thought you were Sugar Tits, and I was like, what?
Well, we could change it to that. I'll take that. It's Senor Sugar Tits.
Back in the day when I worked in a magical place, someone put that on a magic band.
I remember you telling me that.
I have a picture.
Wow.
He literally, and that was back in the day when they didn't look at the names on the magic band.
They just did it.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, excuse me, sir, I need to take this in the back. I took it in the back. I showed everybody. And they're like, oh yeah, he's been here a lot. He has a lot of different women he brings. And I was like, okay, cool. So, moving on.
Mr. Peppermint Buns.
Mr. Peppermint Buns, what are we talking about today?
We are giving a quick review of the new Christmas film, Jingle, Jangle, on Netflix.
Spoilers!
In the Representation Matters collection.
Is that really where it is?
Yeah, yes, it says it directly on it.
Yeah. and on the one hand, it seems like, oh wow, there's a whole section for that. But I like it. All the films in it are really good.
I don't know how I feel about Netflix specifically doing...
Same.
I know this isn't a Netflix conversation, but I don't know how I feel about Netflix, like, all of a sudden labeling all these movies.
As representation matters.
Yeah.
It's...
To me, I thought they were actors. I know that they were all people of color, but to me, I was just like, this is just a good movie full of, like, great actors. To me, it didn't matter.
I just don't know how I feel about that, but that's a conversation.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. I did not care about.
I will throw my 2 cents out there. Say you were a person who, who was like, you know what? I didn't realize that I mostly watch films with not a diverse cast. I do want to watch some different films. You could go to that little segment. Like, that's not, anything or anywhere. But,
Mr. Peppermint Buns.
So, plot synopsis. I'm going to go through the whole film. So if you plan on watching Jingle Jangle sometime during your Christmas season or after, you're going to want to skip this.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. So Jingle Jangle, essentially it starts out with the grandmother telling her grandkids the story about Jeronicus Jangle and how great of an inventor he was. He gets this last piece of Christmas toy that he was putting together that was going to change their lives.
The last ingredient.
The final ingredient.
And so he puts it into this toy, and it makes this little Spanish bullfighting doll come to life. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. I'm going to make 1 million of you so every child can have a toy like this. And the doll was like, hold up. There can only be one of me. And so he convinces Jeronicus's assistant to steal him and all of his other invention ideas and start his own toy factory. So he does, leaving Jeronicus broke and, destroying his faith in himself. As a result, his child, he just loses faith in everything, so he just kind of is down on himself and everything. His wife gets sick and passes away, and his daughter, because of the lack of connection between them now, internally kind of blames herself for everything, and she leaves. Later on, the daughter comes back. The daughter of the daughter. The granddaughter of Jeronicus.
The daughter of the granddaughter.
The daughter of the daughter.
The daughter of Jeronicus. The
granddaughter. The granddaughter comes to visit.
The daughter of the daughter.
Comes to visit because it's near Christmas and all the rest of that. And he's going to lose the shop, which has become a pawn shop instead of a toy shop. And she visits and she's super disappointed because she heard all of these different stories about how wonderful he was as an inventor. And she sees him trying to finish one last thing to prove to the bank, like, hey, I'm making great stuff. Can I keep the house? Like, can I keep the building? She sees him working on it and she sneaks up with his associate who thinks of himself as an apprentice. She sneaks up with the little boy to his workshop and finds what he's working on. It's this little robot called Buddy 3000. The trick to making it work, though, is you have to believe.
Which, spoiler alert, is our Christmas icon of today.
Buddy 3000 is our official Christmas icon for episode 2 of the 12 Days of Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. So they find it, they believe, and he comes to life and he makes him fly. Dronicus comes in, the robot stops working because he has such a lack of faith in anything. And he just gets super upset, he tells him to leave, and so they do. And erstwhile, the competition, the Gustafson, who was his apprentice and now is like a million, like he's the most successful toy maker in the world because of
28 years running.
Because he stole Dronicus's ideas. He's trying to find the next new thing, and so he's like, oh, I'm gonna steal this Buddy toy. So he steals the Buddy toy. The daughter and the friend go to get it back, and then Dronicus goes, and he's like, oh my gosh, I've got to save them. And then they get the robot. They are about to escape from the factory, and it's all because Dronicus believes, and he tells them, like, hey, this is how you do the thing. And so they do the thing, they escape. And they get back, and the police show up, because they're like, hey, you stole this guy's property. And he's like, actually, it's mine. And the daughter proves it with this little piece of paper. Granddaughter proves proves it with a piece of paper that she thought of, like, when she heard about everything. And so they take the other Gustafson, they take him away instead. And he takes the toy that he made originally that started all of this mess, and he reprograms him to not be a butthead. And then everything is happy, and it's revealed that the grandma telling the story is Journey, who is the granddaughter of Dronicus. And their family is magic, and they can see math equations in the air when they believe.
Some quick pointers. Gustafson was upset and was easily convinced because he was trying to build a toy, but Dronicus, he felt like Dronicus was ignoring him to help him fix it, and that's why he stole all the ideas. He was trying to find a new toy because he ran out of ideas in the toy book, because the book finally ran out. And at the end of the movie, when he's getting arrested, Dronicus gives him a Christmas present that he was going to give him that day, which was the completed engine for his toy to make the toy work. But the biggest spoiler of all is that it's a musical.
Yeah, they don't really tell you anywhere.
It's a musical in case you don't like musicals.
I liked it.
I
love the musical bits.
So, did we all like this film?
I liked it.
I
really enjoyed it.
I would say it's one of my favorite Christmas films. I'd watch it year after year.
Oh, completely. Like, my favorite parts, this is just my little notes I took during it. Had a beautiful opening. I thought it was wonderful. Number 2, I'm tired of every movie needing someone to die to make the plot move forward. I hate that, especially because it was the mom. I hate it. The transitions were beautiful. Favorite part, Anika Nani Rose. Okay.
She was so great.
And Felicia Rashad.
Yes.
Who I absolutely love.
That's proposed.
Yeah, that's right. My least favorite, I hated the bad guy, the Gunnarsson. I felt nothing towards him. Not good, not bad. I just didn't like him. The part that didn't make sense to me, honestly, was the toy. The little talking Spanish toy. I didn't get why you would make this toy and why it would be so popular.
Well, it was magical because it was a toy that was alive and it thought on its own.
I know, but why would you be able to reset it then? Because you didn't like its opinion because it talked on its own?
Because it had a power switch.
He also
I didn't
created
like
a
it,
whole
though.
bunch of problems.
All of these things just didn't make sense. Those are my personal...
It sounded like it was programmable.
Maybe, yeah.
And I think that's why they are intentionally vague on what the last ingredient was.
Yeah.
Because it was a liquid, but they never said, oh, it's the essence of life. They never sat you down to explain. They're just saying, like, oh, this is going to make the toy come.
I also didn't realize that was Ricky Martin until the end.
Oh, I could hear it right off the bat.
I didn't realize that.
He had a lot of really
Shebangs.
sassy quotes.
Yeah, the way he moved had to be gay.
Not foolproof. You are proof that there are fools. What about you, Jeff? What were some of your favorite and least favorite moments?
I liked the music. I really liked the outfits.
Me too.
The colors and just like it was very colorful. It was very nice outfits. I like the fact that it's a Christmas movie kind of, but it's not big on Christmas.
It wasn't It wasn't sitting there punching you in the face saying Christmas spirit.
There's no Santa.
Right.
But I liked how it just didn't like shove Christmas down my throat. It took place during Christmas.
That's the only thing that made it Christmas.
Yeah, it took place during Christmas, and he was a toy maker.
Yeah.
I think inventor technically, but it was a toy inventor, and I think that's the only thing that kept it Christmassy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it didn't have to do anything with Christmas necessarily.
You could have had the exact same story take place in July, and none of the elements of the story would have been missing.
I think the important one was that the daughter was coming for Christmas, so maybe that's that's the important part. It would be random. Hey,
especially because the granddaughter's the one that wrote both notes.
Yes, she's the one that wrote the letter to actually get her to go.
Spoilers.
Sorry, but I agree with you. I love the costumes and how bright they were. Made me happy. Because normally when things happen like this in that time period that they're in, it's usually dim clothes, very light colored clothes. These are just bright and fun. It never looked out of place.
This is gonna sound, I don't want to say bad, but I was glad none of the music was rap.
Agreed.
The first part had a little bit of hip hop in it.
Hip hop.
But rapping musicals is a very big
I'm glad it wasn't
thing
like Hamilton.
right now.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't like rappy like Hamilton. I'm glad it was like music and it was fun and it was like uplifting type music and stuff like that.
No, I agree.
And I loved that woman. Which one? That kept calling him Jerry. I can't remember her name.
She was hilarious.
Her name was Johnston. Ms.
Johnston.
She was the male woman who wanted his dick so bad.
Oh my God.
There's a whole song about her trying to get in his pants.
And it was fun flirty.
And
when you're walking, you're Geronicus. When you're not, you're Jerry.
And when he kissed her with the mistletoe and she didn't move and he thought she was like just like paralyzed, that was hilarious.
The only thing that was on the subtitles was vocalizing. And I was just like, that's not vocalizing. She is not vocalizing right now.
She was going like,
no, but she was not vocalizing.
She was probably one of my favorite characters.
She was a great character. I completely agree with you.
So, what were some of your least favorite?
What are your favorite parts?
Oh, my favorite parts?
Now you're forgetting yourself.
I loved all of the characters.
I thought you were just gonna say all of it.
I do, but I loved all of the characters. I thought the characterization was really good. I didn't think they had any too many fluff characters. There were a lot of characters. When I did the summary, I did leave out quite a few people, but the movie was really good. Plot wise, it moved pretty well. There were a few plot holes, but I liked the characterization, the colors. Like you were saying, the outfits were really colorful because it was in that Christmas Victorian London-esque setting. But the only real thing they said was it's at Cobbletown. Mm-hmm. But they didn't say where it was. That was it. That was inferred to be kind of that time period, London. It was a bright, colorful, fun adventure.
Adventure is a good word for it because that's what it said, a Christmas adventure. Or a Christmas journey.
And now knowing one of the characters was
named Journey, that makes sense.
I see. But, no,
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Well, he was gonna. He had a question.
Did I miss it? Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say my least favorite bits, if I had to pick. The plot hole of like, oh, if you do this, if you move this fast and get at this degree angle, you can jump through the fan blades. I was like, those fans are moving too quickly.
It's not necessarily a plot hole because it.
They had an explanation for it, but the whole time I kept thinking, it's moving too
Technically,
fast.
if they were moving, but they were moving really fast
But then they had told him to slow down.
because they were going too fast. That was the problem.
They were gonna hit the blade of it
At the wrong, they had to go at the right millisecond.
It was all about believing, though. It was
Yeah.
not actual, real mathematical equation.
I was really hoping, because I kept thinking, like, off to the side, I thought I saw a big rock. I thought for sure it was just like, the solution is to throw the rock at the fan.
I mean, logically,
Well,
I was like, this is a video game puzzle. Just throw the rock at the fan. But that was my only big gripe about it.
my big gripe is how do these little fuckers not know who the fuck their family is? First off, because she's telling them the story of Dronicus.
Oh yeah, that felt a little.
And they're like, wait, your journey? Where the fuck do you think you came from? He's your great-great-grandfather.
Unless they kept it from them on purpose, like how some people,
until they needed magic.
some rich people will keep their identity.
Second part of the problem with this. The fucking factory is outside their window. And then they open the door and they're like, oh, is that the factory?
But what if they came from another place?
The fuck do you think that is? They must have visited before. They knew who that bitch was.
What if they were playing dumb to make Grandma feel cool?
No, you don't not notice a giant factory with a big-ass J on the back.
But what if their names weren't Jay?
They might not be Jangle anymore, but they should know what the fucking family name. It really bothered me at the end where they're like, "Oh, is that the factory? Let's go see it for the first time." And I was like, "Really? You've never on your way in, you didn't see the big smoke-making place."
Time in this very large town.
Yeah.
Nobody mentioned that there's.
What
a
if this was their
money-making
first night there?
You never asked why your family has so much damn money that you're in a fucking mansion?
I still think it was one of those cases where they did not mention to their children anything about their history in case their kids were like buttheads.
So you don't know your grandma's name?
For sure. She's just Grammy.
I didn't know my grandmother's first name until she passed away.
See.
Because her name is Grandma.
Anyway.
And you didn't even inherit a toy factory.
I didn't even inherit a toy factory.
I also don't think there was. I agree with Alan with the toy, with the Spanish toy. Like, it.
I would rather have Buddy.
It was supposed to be, I think, kind of the subconscious of what's his name.
Gustafson?
Gustafson. I think it's supposed to be kind of like his subconscious trying to you know how like the good angel and the bad angel, but it was just bad.
So like
and
he
it was
could
kind
have
of like
not existed and still been worked the plot a different way.
yeah. I think it could have worked a plot because as soon as it started happening where the toy came to life and it was talking to him, I turned to Patrick and I said, "That guy's the bad guy, not the toy, but the guy." And Patrick was like, "No, he's not." And lo and behold, he's the bad because he's the bad guy.
Yeah, it's not the toy. The toy couldn't have had that much control over it.
Right? It's a toy.
Like, unless he was just a simple-minded
Unless the
person.
toy gets a fucking gun, but I don't know if they had guns in that
Yeah.
world.
And I don't know. I don't think a million kids in the world are going to
a Spanish,
a
little Spanish boy.
Yeah, I know I would not want
you don't want
a bull toy.
Bullfighter?
I mean, unless he was a life-size Ricky Martin. I mean, that would be the only thing.
But the Buddy 3000, we should probably talk about it since it is our Christmas icon.
Our
real
Christmas
fast.
icon is the Buddy 3000. He was adorable.
He runs on believing. That was the part. That's kind of the part you kind of skated over when you said
I
it did.
mentioned it.
Kind of. It was because you didn't mention that when Gustafson showcases the toy, it doesn't work.
Because he didn't believe.
Because he didn't believe. Yeah, because it's a very important part of the story. Because he doesn't
Just
believe
the
in it.
He thinks it's
Synopsis.
broken, and so he throws it into the...
Yes, and then they realize that it must be something good, and that's why they try and steal it back because the kids are trying to take it back.
But then they lose because that bitch got reset. I thought it was adorable. I would love to have, because he looked like a really big toy, I would love to have a Buddy 3000.
And I liked it because they went, like... Recently, everybody's been really trying to hop on the Grogu Baby Yoda kick, where they make everything as cute and as adorable as possible. I think they went about it a good way. They made him really cute without being like, look, it's a baby something.
Agreed.
You know? Like, he was metal. He was
metal. He was very, But, so, the one final question.
Can I make
Actually,
one more
it's
comment?
two.
Can I make one comment about the Buddy 3000 though?
Fine.
It looks like Wall-E if it had feet and arms.
fair.
I really did like the really big eyes. They look like goggles.
Yeah. Sorry. I just really wanted to say that.
So our final two questions are, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being terrible, 5 being amazing. And would you recommend it for a friend? Jeff.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
I would recommend it though. It's a fun movie.
Babe.
I enjoyed watching it.
I gave it a 4.5 because I really liked it, but there were just only a couple things that made it short of a perfect film for me.
So a 4. Got it.
Would you recommend it?
Yes.
I also gave it a 4.5. Wait, what did I say 4? No, I said 4. I'm sorry. I gave it a 4. It's a good movie. It's not a perfect movie. And I would recommend it to anyone because it was a really good Christmas adventure. So
It was.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, guys, that's day 2 of our 12 Days of Christmas.
Those.
How excited are we?
So excited.
Oh my gosh. Come back tomorrow for more giggles and gays. I'm Alan.
I'm Larry.
And I'm Jeff. And you guys keep calm and giggle on.
And make the Yuletide gay.